Welcome to the TMRN Elk Radio Network. I'm Jules, and today is the 14th of May 2011. Today we have intertribal medicine man Red Elk. Red Elk is a self-subscribed half-breed Native American white, or both, of the Blackfeet and Shoshone nations. He's also a member of the Hyoka Society, one of the 9 members of the Red Web Society who are working to bring understanding of many hidden sacred teachings to the people of the earth. Red Elk's website is redelkspeaks.com. Red Elk, good evening and welcome to the WebBot Forum Roundtable.
Thank you, my brother. Number one, let's get this right now. I quit the Red Web Society. It was so much tradition, and I am purity, which is before tradition. But I decided that I would help them in their way, and if there's any way I can help, I'll be it. So we can drop the Red Web Society, and I'm in Hyoka, which is pre-tradition. And I'm French-Irish, Blackfoot, and Shoshone. And right down the middle, I can't help the way I look. I look white. I got a brother, he's total Indian in looks, but we call him the apple. He's Indian on the outside and white on the inside. Trying to come to terms believing that his brother was so Indian that he was now an actual medicine man as well. It took him well over a year to accept me at that. But anyway, there are probably 11 of us left of the Hyoka worldwide. I'm not dead sure there were 12, but as we die off, there will be no replacements any longer, because we're the end of it. And, yeah. So we shall see. I'm just a little bit, above middle age in the Inner Hyoka Society. There's some quite a bit older than I am, and I'll be 69, 18th of this month. But there are some younger ones. I helped train 2, maybe 3. I'd have to think about it. And so I prefer not working in an Indian manner. That's their total culture, and it's their right. I prefer not working in a Christian manner. That's their right and the way they think. I just prefer one-on-one. You and anybody, any color, any religion, can connect personally with a great creator. Connect, talk to, with. Get a back and forth conversation going with Big Daddy. And that's what we teach. It's called purity. Okay, thank you very much. I'll shut up and go for it.
Thank you, Red Elk. And although you might be a little old, you are sharp of mind and young of heart. The WebBot Forum administrator is Fox, and today he'll be doing the recording and technical support of the show. Several members of the forum were kind enough to join us tonight. They include members Lua, CDNNM, M. Sanchez, K. Salba, Peace Vagaya, and Exocet. For listeners, this interview will assume you are familiar with Red Elk's work in his books, videos, and his great vision. Red Elk has completed numerous interviews throughout the years, and many of them are available on YouTube and on his site, redelkspeaks.com. He also has a brand new set of short stories you can purchase from his site. The audio and video for this interview will be available on YouTube for free on the WebBot Forum channel and available from webbotforum.com. Before we begin, I wanted to mention that Red Elk and the forum members may talk about a lot of dire and doom scenarios in this interview. Please note that it is not our intention to propagate fear. In fact, the opposite. Fear comes from lack of knowledge and ignorance, and it's the intention of this interview to shed light on what our possible future holds so that we can change it. If not collectively, then individually for those who have ears to hear and eyes to see. Red Elk, are you ready for the interview, sir?
I sure am, and I like your last part that you just said. As bad as some things are that I tell, they're just a warning to get right, and it can change. We the world's masses can literally stop this mess. It's not meant to make people fear. It's meant to make people, I don't know, think, understand, and hopefully apply.
Yes, even if we don't reach the 87% mass, even changing one person's life can make a difference. So thank you for that, Red.
Aye.
As a first question, we wanted to know what your opinion was of the webbots and if you've heard of Cliff High and his work. Just to give you a summary, all humans are psychic, and those psychic impressions leak out in everyday lives we call instinct. Sometimes they appear in body gestures that we do, feelings that we have, and also words that we use in conversation and in words that we write. What do you think of his premise? And more importantly, being a forecaster, if you have read the report and are familiar with his forecasts?
I have never, I apologize, heard of this outfit, but I'm impressed. It seems quite professional, and it would not surprise me that it's reaching out to equally intellectual type people, a group of people that need to hear what is being told. And from what I understand, what little I've been able to glean, you people are trying to do the right thing.
Thank you. Red, we've broken up the questions into different sections tonight. The first section is one that many people, including myself and members of the forum, find interesting, and that's prophecy and your great vision. My question is, Red, interestingly, Cliff's webbots have language about lines of boxcars filled with dead in the future language and about 220 million people relocating from the US due to some disaster. He is guessing the people are relocating from the east coast of the US and the Gulf of Mexico. In your great vision, you mentioned boxcars carrying the dead from the east coast of the US over and over again. Since making the video in 2005, have you spoken to Papa or Father, and has he shown you what the cause of this was?
Nothing has changed.
Do you know what it could be, Red Elk?
Yeah, I do. And as we get right with the Creator individually and maths, it's going to be Armageddon. When you say
Armageddon, are you clarifying? Is that a war or a terrorist attack, or is that earth changes?
It's a world war. It is unbelievable. And that's what it is. But, hear me now, it's a planned war. Planned by the great Creator himself. I say he, the Creator is neither he nor she. It has no form, but can appear in a form that you can comprehend as a he or a she. And you will, if you're talking directly to the great Creator, and he's talking to you and has shown himself, you'll never see beyond and barely see half of his lower knee. From there on up, it is all lightning and flashes of colored clouds. It's unbelievable. So, the great Creator has no sex. Literally, none. And so know that. And before I go on, please, all listeners, do not, I repeat, do not believe a word I say. Don't believe it. You'll have to check it 3 times to find out if what I tell is of the Creator or somebody with a split tongue. Do not believe a word I say. Check it for yourself.
Thank you, Red Elk. Yes, many of the forum members actually also listen to the Creator. They use pendulums and other sorts to try to tune into the universe. So in relation to that question, my other question was, in your great vision, you talked about America being invaded by 5 countries, and then it will be saved by the Earth having 3 jerks like a crustal shift or crustal slippage. It'll end up covering half of the US. So have you got any more information of that recently?
I would say it would cover a little more than half. You're going to have a whole bunch of islands, especially from the east side, into the eastern area of Colorado and Montana and stuff like that. And it will be a bunch of little islands and a bunch of nothing. Nothing but disaster all around. But, again, I repeat, we can change this.
When you mean change it, we can change our future in terms of moving or relocating, but we can't change the shift, or can we change the shift?
We can change the shift. We are, people don't realize it. Now, the inner Hyoka, we deal with purity. And purity is the Word of God, but not the Word of God that is being put out today. That is smothered with man rules and regulations, with the use of a good concordance, and I recommend Strong's concordance, learning how to use it, testing the Word as you read it. You'll find out there's a bunch of bunk in that book. When you're done, after years of doing this, you find out you got very little left of today's Bible. But it's all pure. It's all that, without man's interference. A lot of people have no idea there are 2 Bibles in the world. One is the one that people pick up and read, and the other one we call the Indian Bible, the pure Bible. No man incursions at all. And it's very, very tiny. And it's 1 million times more powerful after you clean it up.
Thank you, Red Elk. Hopefully we can change it. I think you mentioned before we needed 87% of the world to be able to change that. But if we don't, from 2008 Wikipedia, there's 65 nuclear power plants and over 100 nuclear reactors in the US. So if a quake or if a shift occurs, all those nuclear reactors are going to melt down. So it's not going to be a pleasant place to live in the Northern Hemisphere.
Or the world. If that shift comes, that shift is coming for the whole planet, not just us. And all the planet's places of nuclear power, etc., every single one, no exception, will all be involved. Understand, the Creator in the pure Word of God says that the next destroying, or changing, really, of Earth will be by fire. That does not necessarily mean nuclear war or these places blowing up, meltdown. Do you understand? Well, let's go with meltdown. For instance, in Japan, they've got meltdowns now. And the only fires that have taken place, other than, some villages and stuff with their wood buildings, is at the nuclear plants that are melting and have melted down, spewing radiation throughout the air and the water. Now, what does radiation do? So the fire is not necessarily nuclear explosions wiping you out as an explosion, nor nuclear war. But it can be anything that ends up making you blister up and quit breathing. So anyway, that's, I want people to think about that it just doesn't mean somebody pot shots at you with a nuclear missile or anything, but, just natural disasters caused by man over their stupidity and greed to get cheap